Happy Monday morning to you. I can't believe it. September's almost over. We're coming off the bye week for Clemson. This coming Saturday, we'll play the North Carolina Tar Heels, the soap opera that is North Carolina football with Bill Belichick up there. And Clemson, as of right now, we know the line will change, is a 13.5-point favorite going into this game against a 2-2 North Carolina team. And the question is this the turning point in the season? You would be shocked how many comments are starting after a week, folks. They're already showing up on my board trying to find any possible way for Clemson to turn this season around, win the remaining 8 football games in the regular season, maybe at worst drop one more, but win 7 out of the next 8. And people are trying to figure out ways for Clemson to get into the ACC championship. You can tell it. You can smell it, especially after this weekend where Florida State loses on Friday night, where, and by the way, they couldn't stop Virginia. It's crazy. And then I know that Angeli was out for Syracuse, but a 35-point loss, No. Yes, having your quarterback out, losing by 14, I could get that. 35? My Lord. Good grief. Watching Georgia Tech almost lose to Wake Forest, and a lot of people says, hey, that guy was offsides. There's an angle going around, or there's a picture with a weird angle going around on Instagram, but it's still kind of like that, so you can't see exactly when the ball was snapped. I would have to go back and look at the live footage, but Georgia Tech almost lost to Wake Forest. And of course, LSU lost to a second-string quarterback at Ole Miss, a guy that was playing D2 football last year at Ferris State. So my point is, it was a weird weekend, and it seems to have given Clemson fans hope that this season will be turned around. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, talk about the North Carolina game. I'm going to talk about the coffee I'm drinking. I'm going to drink the coffee that I'm drinking. But anyway, welcome to the channel. If you love Clemson Tiger football, I hope you'll subscribe. You'll pass it around to all your friends. You're like, how could I pass it around? On your forums, on Facebook. Send it to the group of guys you text about Clemson football. Let them know I'm talking about the channel. It's growing a lot, and I really do appreciate it. The channel's only 3 years old, so I'm really happy with where it's at and how it's growing, and that's all because of y'all. So I do appreciate that. Appreciate those who subscribe. Also, I have another channel called Another College Football Podcast. It's growing. It's only a few months old. If that, the link is below this video. Go check that out. I talked about Sam Pittman being fired by Arkansas over the weekend, and now Bobby Petrino is once again the head coach at Arkansas. Well, he's the interim, but come on, y'all. And that was interesting. Talked about Florida State and Virginia, talked about Ole Miss and LSU. So people are slowly subscribing to that channel, and I'm really happy with that. It's slow, but it's growing over there. So go check that out. Let's talk about Clemson. 1 week in a 1 week period, Clemson has went. A lot of Clemson fans have went from being upset to now being hopeful, all because of games that other teams have lost or almost lost. Now, if you watched Saturday night at 7:30, Alabama go to Georgia and snap that home winning streak that the Bulldogs had, a lot of us were shocked. I picked Georgia to win the game. I felt like Georgia had more continuity there. They were not playing Nick Saban. But Kalen DeBoer went in and Ty Simpson did what they did. And you're like, what does that have to do with Clemson? Well, we know what Florida State did. Florida State trucked Alabama. And so you're like, I wonder if Florida State's going to truck us too, because, I mean, good grief. We're not looking amazing, but Florida State loses. Their offense or their defense couldn't stop Virginia. Virginia had the perfect call almost nonstop. It was just crazy. Now, if you think Florida State's just going to roll over and die, that's you being hopeful again. But all of these teams almost losing over the weekend has revived Clemson fans into believing that there is potentially a way for the Clemson Tigers, a team who's only played 4 games and now had a bye week, that with all that time off between the first round of the college football playoff back in December, all the way leading up to the August 30th loss to LSU in Death Valley, that the same coaching staff and the same players who were not ready for that game on August 30th after all that time off is somehow going to be rejuvenated after a bye week and watching people within their conference and around the country fail. Then this confirms to me that the mindset in Clemson is no longer championship football and elite thinking, meaning you expect your team to truly be elite. We are now once again hoping to fail our way, not fall into it, fail our way into success because other people, well, they're just not up to snuff. Now, I have heard so many different sayings that encapsulates this mindset over the years, and it was a warning to me, whether it was someone who was a mentor or someone that I worked for or one of my family members, or maybe a talk my dad had with me as I've grown up, that, son, if people have to fail for you to be successful, what does that say about you? Because someone had to fail last year for Clemson to get into the ACC championship and the college football playoff. If, and it didn't happen, so you got me there, Miami wins that game, no ACC championship, no 10 wins. You went to a bowl game, maybe you won there. So I retract that statement. But no ACC championship and no college football playoff banner. But now we're playing this game, going into the North Carolina game of, oh, hold on. Maybe if every team except for the really, really bad ones in the ACC, if all of them will quit playing football for this season, we'll be in the ACC championship. That's what I'm talking about. I'm booking my tickets to Charlotte right now. That is the mindset it's taken over this program, this fan base. And you think I'm crazy? Go right through my comments section over the past few days. Go right through it. You're starting to see it showing up. It's like sprinkling in a little bit of pepper, a pinch of salt. And then all of a sudden you get more salt and you get more pepper, and suddenly it's burning your mouth. Now, North Carolina is bad. So is Clemson. For different reasons. North Carolina has a guy who, won several Super Bowls. Well, that's because Tom Brady. Yep, and he was the coach of Tom Brady. Okay? I get where you're going with that. I understand what you're saying. But sometimes there are incredible matches. You pair 2 people together, Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott. I know everybody's high on Tony right now after that game against Florida State the other night, but Tony's lost a lot of ball games, and Tony was also the one in the LSU national championship game that he said we forsook the run, and you had Travis Etienne running the ball. Why do you do that? So don't allow one game, and good for Tony. Tony seems like a nice guy. Tony's not a bad coach, but some of y'all are starting to memorialize it. Well, that would mean he's passed away, but you're starting to exaggerate some stuff here just because the other night. That same team lost to NC State, by the way. That NC State team just lost to Virginia Tech, who just had to fire their coach. So before we all get fired up and blah, 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 pump the brakes a little bit. But Tony and Jeff, they were a match made in heaven for Clemson. But our offense and our defense just they don't look good. You have some players out there like Will Helt who's taking the moment by the throat and he's enjoying it. Adam Randall has rushed for almost 350 yards this year. And remember, they barely ran him against LSU. Had they ran Adam Randall against LSU, which, by the way, and I'm going to keep reminding you of this, that the other team knew we would not run the football against them. That same team, again, just lost to a second-string quarterback at Ole Miss who was playing for a D2 school just a year ago. So Louisville, I keep saying that with LSU. I don't know why. LSU didn't even lose to the starter for Ole Miss. They lost to the second string. And I know LSU fans could say, well, Caden Durham, our starting running back, he was out. Sure, he was out. But which is more important, your starting running back or your starting quarterback? You know. Once you get to this level of football, that starting quarterback goes out unless you got Barry Sanders behind him, got Walter Payton behind him. In the college game, you have a Reggie Bush behind him. I think I'd pump the brakes and go with the quarterback. And we're doing this thing going into this North Carolina game. We're starting to get delusional, starting to get our little hopes up. Maybe Clemson does turn it around, folks. Maybe they do. But I still wouldn't be eating my words. You know why? They had everyone in the country believing in them. Everyone. People who hate him. Paul Feinbaum was going, I think this is going to be the year for them. The roster looks stacked and this, that, and the other. People didn't wake up one day and turn on Clemson because they're just bad people and they expect too much out of Clemson. I hate to say this, but Clemson earned this criticism. People aren't just waking up in the morning and going, you know what? I believe I'm going to hate Clemson today. I mean, I got so much orange on me right now, it looks like I'm about to go hunting. Don't shoot me. I'm not a deer. And that's what you have to accept here. This team, could they hypothetically win out the rest of the season? Hypothetically? How about we replace that with realistically based on what we've seen in the first 4 games? No. I have a hard time, a very difficult time, believing that this coaching staff only gets fired up when there's nothing to play for anymore other than pride. And by the way, this would be the second time in 2 years that they've had to do so. So going into this North Carolina game, I'm starting to see a bunch of you. You're already starting to get a little optimistic after this weekend, and you're starting to, again, pepper in, putting a pinch of pepper of that into your comments that says something along the lines of, well, you know, this is college football and anything can happen. You know what Bobby Dodge said? Let's talk about North Carolina for a second. I will preview and predict the game hopefully by Wednesday, probably on Wednesday. I like to do it around that time. But right now, here's just the common stats for the games, especially with the starting time. Excuse me. Clemson and North Carolina play in Chapel Hill this Saturday, 12 o'clock on ESPN. Clemson is a 13.5-point favorite. Remember, they were a 17-point favorite against Syracuse. So let that sit in the back of your mind. North Carolina is 2-2. Let's talk about who they've played, who they've lost to. They started out with a 48-14 loss to TCU. And TCU is not a bad team, but they're not a really good football team. In fact, if you look at TCU right now, what is their record? They just lost their first game. They lost it to Arizona State 27-24 over the weekend. So they're not a bad football team, but they're not great. But they lost 48-14 to TCU. They played Charlotte in the smallest stadium in D1, beat them 20-3. They beat Richmond 41-6. They lost to Scott Frost and the UCF. What are they? The Knights? Anyway, 34-9. So in their two losses, they've got blistered. I mean, blistered. UCF is not an amazing football team. This is Scott Frost's first year there, but they just lost their first game to a Kansas State team who hasn't been able to beat really anyone. I mean, Kansas State's 2-3, and they just lost to them 34-20. UCF Knights. That's who they are. So they come into this game against Clemson, and they've looked like a mess. Then we have all the off the field stuff going on that is just very much. There's more media, and I said this before the season. There's more media about what's going on off the field than on the field, and that really concerned me as someone who watches football all the time, because if I know more about you off the field than I know what your football team brings to the table. Gio Lopez, okay, I knew that name. This guy, he struggled. He's passed for 430 yards. I don't even know if he got hurt or something. Maybe he did. His numbers are really, really low. 42 of 67, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So North Carolina fans may be like, hey, he's injured. Maybe he is. Cade Klubnik comes into the game. 89 of 148, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 996 yards. Demon June is their running back. He has 250 yards, 1 touchdown off of 33 carries. We have Adam Randall, 57 carries for 3 touchdowns, 338 yards off of 57 carries. The guy's numbers are really, really solid. I do agree with the feedback of he's fumbled the football. He's got to cut that out, right? You negate so much when you fumble the football. And then on top of that, a fumble's bad, but where you fumble. So Adam Randall's got to tuck that football a little better. Okay, a lot better. But as far as yardage, Adam Randall's doing quite well. If he continues on this path, he'll rush for 1,000 yards. So not bad for a converted running back. Bryant Wesco, 389 yards off of 24 receptions, 5 touchdowns. Guy's playing very well. He's had a few drops this season. He can't do that, especially when this football team, especially Cade. I'm a big Cade fan, but I have to tell the truth. Cade has far from done well this year. He's missed a bunch of wide open guys, and it's a guy who is at the point of the career that Cade is in. He can't be missing those passes. I'm sorry. He can't be missing those passes. And, especially with this offense that's just not super amazing. And the scheme, no matter who's calling it, again, we may owe Garrett a very big apology later on. You cannot, this is one of those deals where you get a chance. It's like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to actually have an open guy 2 or 3 times, Meanwhile, I don't know if you did this past weekend. I watch college football as a whole. That's the reason I started the other channel, to talk about other college football teams. I watch college football whether it's Clemson or not. I clear my schedule for Clemson, but I sit and watch college football basically all day. It is so amazing to me that there's so many teams out there with expectation and without expectation who they can produce, and they don't have the roster that Clemson has. Well, they went to the portal and they have the coaches. You can portal it up, baby. I'm telling you, just go ahead and trust me. You can portal it up, but if you don't have the guys to coach them, you're going to have to come to the conclusion. You can do it now or you can do it later. You can be hard-headed and you do it now or you can do it later. You still have a coaching issue. There's some good coaches out there. I watched that. Very impressed with the head coach at Mississippi State, Jeff Lebby, in season 2. That guy can coach. That's an offensive mind. Brilliant. Brilliant. Took on Mississippi State, almost beat Tennessee. Clemson would have played Tennessee this past weekend. Tennessee would have beaten them by 3 or 4 touchdowns. Why? Execution, coaching, scheming, development, all of the above. Will Helt has 3 sacks on the season. I skipped North Carolina's leading receiver, Jordan Shipp. This guy has 13 receptions, 193 yards. And I'm not even going to take a shot at this guy's name for North Carolina. I will. Mekart Abu Jody, so whatever. I don't mean that disrespectful, but I know that I butchered his name. 2 sacks on the season. And then Wade Wood has the leading tackler, 35 tackles, to Andrew Simpson's 28 tackles on North Carolina. So this is it's just very, very interesting coming into this game because everyone knows that North Carolina is bad, but everyone knows that Clemson can literally lose any game. I mean, they're 0-2 in the ACC. If you go to the ACC standings right now, this is truly sad. Clemson's at the very bottom. Are they at the very bottom? Let me see. I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, they're at the very bottom. They are at the very bottom. Who's above them? It should make you... Yeah, anyway. Boston College, Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Florida State, SMU, they're all above them. Stanford's above them. Virginia Tech fired their coach, and in conference, they're above them. California, they're above them. I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought? So that's why I'm telling you, listen, y'all, you're grown adults. You can do whatever you want to. You can believe whatever you want to. I can't stop you. I know maybe some of you are already getting offended. Don't tread on me. You're mumbling about paying taxes and being an adult and stuff. Nobody tells me what to do. I've also paused right there. Life lesson. I've also found that those very same people who's like, no one tells me what to do, they tell everyone what to do. It's very hypocritical, very weird, very narcissistic. Anyway, back. That's totally fine. You can believe right now that if doo-dooed in the middle of Death Valley, that it would somehow create a stench that would revive winning at Clemson. And that's all up for you. You go for it, pal. You go for it. They're going to get arrested for, defecating on the 50-yard line, but you go for it. It's up to you. But for people who actually they're not rebellious children, well, at least stop. You don't have to agree with me. At least stop and think about it. Why? Logically, would you believe that this team's going to turn it around? I'm not saying they're not going to win another game the rest of this season, but why, from a logical standpoint, would you believe that this team is going to turn it around and win 7 out of the next 8 games? Oh, they could do it. They also could have won some of these games they played. People gave them a pass for LSU. And Syracuse, again, I'm going to say this. Again, I know they didn't have Angeli, and Angeli looked incredible. He really did. I hate it for that guy. His season's over. That's awful. I hate it for him. He was the second leading passer by yards in the country coming into that Clemson game, and he was wearing it out and got hurt. His season's done. But to lose by 35 points at home to Duke, that was really that bad. And there's a lot of people that are grasping at straws this morning in the Clemson community. And again, do what you want. I think you're being, I'm going to say it. Maybe you want to call it hopeful, go for it. I think you're being more delusional. I think you're being more unrealistic. I think that you need to ask yourself, if Clemson were to lose the remaining games, or most of the remaining games, what would happen to Clemson football? I'm going to go to the comment section after this. What would happen to Clemson football? Really? You're like, what do you mean? We would be devastated. Would it force Sweeney to make some decisions that he should have made a long time ago as a whole? What happens if Clemson were to lose the rest of their ball games, and in a few years, because Sweeney said, you know what, I had to accept it. The vast majority of the coaches on my sideline. They're not, at this point in their career, they should not be coaching at Clemson. And he goes in, he cleans house, he hires a bunch of incredible coaches, starts appealing to the players and say, hey, listen, I know I want to make you a good man, but I also know that you want to make money. I want to make money. So is that what's driving you to come here to Clemson? You want to make money. Okay. All right. As long as you're not some type of, hellion, I'll appease that. I want to make money. I don't know about y'all. If you're at work right now and you go, I really don't care about, making money, and you're at work, you're being hypocritical. You really are, and you're being delusional. You do care about money, or else you wouldn't have shown up at work this morning. But he needs to appeal to that. Okay, you come to Clemson, you do well, and my goal is to get you to NFL where you can make even more money, right? You make crazy money in the NFL if you're good enough. So you make really unbelievable money now, and you make crazy money later. I want to get you there. But this is what I need out of you. If he did that, because losing a bunch of games this season would set that up, and then the future would be correct to Dabo Swinney win championship after championship. You know it, and I know it. But what happens if your desire to salvage this season so much, if they could just win, 7 games or win out, where would that put us at this season? Could we get to look what it did last year. Look what happened last year. Did that set them up for success this year? No. In fact, it put a Band-Aid over a deep cut. And nothing's been fixed. Getting to the comment section. David Woody, good morning, brother. John Answer, good to see you. Jeremiah Allen, it's good to see you, my friend. Astro, morning, boss, love to see you. Yeah, good to see you, my friend. Willman, what's up? Matthew Coker, Jeremiah Allen's in here. Joe Mullen, Broski Bear, got Harriet DeWitt, Big John. Get some coffee. Yes, sir. And thanks for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. If I've overlooked anyone who supports the channel on a monthly basis, please forgive me. If they lose to UNC, big changes would happen at Clemson, bet you. Maybe. Kool-Aid drinkers are idiots. This team is garbage. Dabo has brought it to its knees after building it to win championship. He's a great salesman, no more, no less, friends and family. There's a lot of people making that question, has that question. Hello, Mr. Durkin's twin. Go Tigers. Good to see you, my friend. KD Jones is in here. Got Gene Posey. I got Keith Louder. I got Peanut 3844 Abel. Miami is on top, and Clemson is back to being mid at best. All is right in the world. Good to see you, Peanut. Talkers of trash in here. Army 3275. Assistant Coach Jordan is coming for y'all. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Good to see you, Army 3275. Miami ain't been good since 04. Talking trash. Good to see them in here talking trash, having some fun. Derek Rose. I probably butchered your name. I'm sorry. I know they may not turn it around, but we should never, ever give up. Hope they will turn it around. I get it. And listen, I'm not being a jerk to you when I say some of y'all are being delusional. It's okay if you want them to turn it around. I'm just asking Derek and anyone else in here. All right. And by the way, I didn't have the comments on while I was making my comments. I don't want anyone to think that I was passively rebutting anyone here. I am just saying, maybe the wheels should come off the car to realize we need a new pit crew. Caught you live. Love your channel. Good to see you. Mac Lambert, backup punter, is in my friend's Bible study. He says that Cade has no locker room presence. Ben Smith, according to ESPN, the Tigers sit at number 45, which is 8th best in the ACC. They have the number 92 offense, number 52 defense, number 96 special teams. That's awful. I know. Dabo's only fault in not adapting, not telling kids to free up scholarships for the portal. Other than the Mario, can't sniff Dabo's. Okay, so there we go. Here's the thing. College football, as we know it, it's been gone, and I'm going to raise the bar a little higher than what some of you will agree with, and that's totally fine. People disagree with me all the time. You don't have to agree with me all the time. I just ask that you're realistic. You don't have to be. You can be overly medicated. Go for it. Excuse me. College football, we started losing college football majorly when coaches started making $5 to 10 plus $1 million, and they had $60 and $70 million buyouts. That's when we lost college football. When boosters could really roam free, we lost it then too. The players getting paid is just an issue for a lot of people because the amateur status, and we also know that they were given a lot of things even before NIL, with scholarships and special treatment. And I've went through that before, but even a lot of y'all out there, for some reason, that's not good enough for you. You want more special treatment. You want to pay everybody a ton of money, but you have no expectation of performance. I got Red in here. Let me see. Red's in here. Wrestle Weekly. I'll be there. 70 portal players versus development pool +3. Virginia Tech fired their coach and they are above them. Yeah, actually, it's sad, ain't it? Going through here, make sure I'm not missing anyone. Patrick Mercer, the product so far yields 4 and 8. Yep. Good points. Don't want to repeat of Tommy Bowden year after year. Disappointment being just good enough not to get fired. Sam, it's good to see you in here. X-Metal Windex. Hey, you became a member, became a buddy. Pause right here. Hey, listen, if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis, I have a join button right below this video, $3 or $5 per month. I know things are expensive. You're like, man, I don't want another expense. So I made it really, really low to where if you like what I'm doing, you want to support on a monthly basis, you won't even notice it coming out of your bank account. I mean, it's that low. I will clarify. If someone asks, what's the difference between $3 or $5? Is there any special? No, I just went $3 or $5. So if you think I'm worth $5 per month, I hope you will subscribe. If you feel like I'm worth 10 cents a day, go for the $3 one. Or if you feel like I'm worth nothing, at least subscribe. It's free. Thank you for joining X-Metal Windex. Good to see you, my friend. Tim Reed's in here. Good to see you. Good to see you, Tim Reed. And also, good point, buddy. Winning the ACC last year set us up for failure this season, it appears. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it. A lot of people disagree with me. Hey, to each their own. Just ask you, what was the end result of last year when it came to impacting this year? Did get them all fired up? Did Clemson step back and say, you know what? We were blessed to still get into the ACC championship by the skin of our teeth and to win it. And we got win number 10, but we got to the college football playoff. You know what, guys? We realize we cannot base our success or being able to succeed by other people failing. We realize we can't do that. That's not a good formula for consistent winning. That's nonsense. Let's work harder. Let's develop harder. Let's scheme more intelligently. Let's open up the playbook. Let's make sure that all the players listen. Lane Kiffin is the quarterback whisperer. You need someone like him working with Cade. Again, he just took a player that was playing D2 football last year and beat LSU, a team we couldn't even think of playing. Couldn't even think of beating. It's like, well, they're LSU. More excuses in the Clemson community. It's getting more and more common every day. It's not a championship. It's not a championship mindset, a winning mindset. And he did it. Are you saying some of you? I'm going to back you into the corner here. Are you saying that Clemson can't get those types of coaches? I'm not saying Lane Kiffin specifically. I'm talking about those types of coaches that can take a guy that was playing D2 football and get them to beat LSU. Are you saying that Clemson's not good enough? They're not worth it to be able to get that? There's always a flip side of that. Sometimes you should ask yourself that question. All right, so I bet that sounds weird in the mic. I'll go back and listen to that. You're like, go away. All right, I hope y'all pass this along if you like what I'm doing. Let me know what's going to happen in the season. What will happen in the season? And by the way, if Clemson does tank, they go like 4 and 8 this year. They go 5 and 7, 6 and 6. Will they fire a bunch of people? Or are we going to see the the sacrificial lamb that we've been getting for the past 4 years or so, where we fire one coach. So I want to know in the comments section. I hope you'll pass this along. The channel's growing. Pass it along to your friends, neighbors, clergymen, anyone who loves Clemson football, and anyone who maybe just likes the show. I have a lot of people from other fan bases say, hey, I watch you. I watch you because you're realistic. I like it. You call it as it is, or at least how you see it. You believe it. I don't feel like I'm being fed a line from a marketing department. I just really like it. Folks, I hope you'll subscribe, pass it along in your forums, Facebook, the guys at work, whatever, and get them to subscribe. I do appreciate it. Take a peek at my channel, another college football podcast. I'm uploading more and more content over there. I've had to get the balance. It's been kind of weird, but go check that out because, I said I could see Mississippi State beating Tennessee. It almost happened. I picked Oregon to win. I was wrong on the Georgia game. I picked Georgia to win that ball game. That really raises some eyebrows. It's raising some eyebrows this morning. And so, anyway, y'all take care of yourself. And as